Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is John Vine, and what we're going to be talking about today is how to become a software developer in 2021. Right, so 2020 is over, we have a brand new year, and I think this year is a great year to become a software developer, to start learning how to code. And I figured I'd make this video for you guys so that, we can talk about how exactly to go about becoming a software developer, right? How to become a programmer, what you should plan for, how to build a resume, whether you should build side projects. I figured we'd make a video talking about all of this stuff so that you guys can succeed in 2021 and become a programmer. So if you're new to this channel, what we do here is we talk about software engineering at a high level. I try to give you guys tips on how to become a programmer, like this video. And if you guys like the content, feel free to like and subscribe. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. So what's the first thing you have to do, right? If you decided you want to be a programmer, you want to either switch career paths, or you're a student right now and you want to become a programmer, what should you do? Now, the first thing I would recommend to do is to, decide what kind of projects you want to build, right? Kind of choose a path of software development. You can't just be a programmer. You can choose, front end, you choose web development, you can choose back end or full stack if you want to work on both. You can even do things like data science or, work on mobile applications like iOS and Android. So I would spend, a couple of weeks maybe or a month kind of deciding, doing some research and finding out what you're most interested in, right? So if you want to build, for example, iOS applications, that's what you decided to do, then the next step, what you would do is, you would look up what kind of languages do you have to know to become a iOS developer, right? And then it would show you things like Swift, it would show you things like Xcode, and you'd kind of get the ball rolling there. So guys, the first and most important step is to actually pick a path, to decide what you want to code. Right? Myself personally, I'm a full stack developer, but the thing is, don't spend too much time deciding which path you want to take, right? You can't waste too much time, deciding, oh, am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? Or like going through forums and looking on the internet, doing research. You don't want to waste too much time on this, because the sooner you decide, the sooner you can get the ball rolling and the sooner you can start applying for jobs. You also have to keep in mind, right, that just because you decide a language now doesn't mean you're locked in for life. As long as you're learning how to code, as long as you're learning the fundamentals and, you're gaining knowledge day by day, there should be no problem, switching over to another field of computer science after you've picked your first one, right? It's not the end of the world if, a couple months down the road you realize, oh, okay, I'm not interested in this, because you will have already learned a lot, and you will have learned how to code, you will have built several projects, and then switching paths isn't as hard as, starting from scratch, right? So don't worry too much about this first step. Just pick a path, pick a discipline, and start learning how to code. Guys, if you want more content like this in the future, where I talk about how to get a job, how to actually plan out, your journey and your plan of learning how to code week by week, feel free to leave a like below. If we get to 50 likes, I will make some more videos covering those topics. Now, the next thing that you want to do is kind of create a schedule for yourself, plan out your strategy, right? What are you going to do week by week? And what you want to do is you want to get as specific as possible. Now, I'm talking, Monday, I'm going to be studying from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Tuesday, I have some time in the morning, so I'm going to be studying from 10 to 2. Like stuff like that. You want to get as detailed as possible so that you know what you're doing every day, and then you know where the finish line is, kind of, right? So the next step after you've decided your discipline is, I would take a couple of months and kind of, learn a language. So let's say for example, like the example before, you want to become an iOS developer. I would spend, 2 months, maybe a month or two, learning Swift, learning the syntax, taking a course or two on Swift, and really kind of getting into the groove of things, getting comfortable with coding, and getting that base knowledge required so that you can start working on side projects. And like I said before, if you picked a path and then you don't know what you have to do, like you don't know how to start learning that, there are tons of resources online, and you can just, in a simple Google search, will tell you which languages to learn and kind of guide you towards different resources. So yeah, like I said, you want to plan month by month and get more detailed as you go through, then week by week what you're going to be doing, and then day by day you want to schedule time to code, right? What I recommend is a couple of hours a day for sure, no days off. You want to spend like 2 to 3 hours minimum per day kind of learning how to code, taking a course. And if you have a full-time job, you have to accept the reality that you're going to have to make some sacrifices, and after work, maybe from 7 to 9 you're going to be studying, right? You want to plan out day by day and get as specific as possible. I realized when I did this, it was much easier to stay accountable, and I actually finished, projects I was working on, and I actually was able to learn new languages. So guys, take this seriously and really plan out your schedule to get a calendar out and decide what you're going to be doing week by week, day by day, and I guarantee you're going to be successful. Now, after the first month or two where you've been learning how to code, you're kind of learning syntax, you've learned a couple fundamentals of a programming language, then what you want to do is, as soon as possible, start building side projects, right? You want to build a ton. What I would recommend is you don't even have to be done studying, you don't have to be done learning how to code to start coding a side project. I recommend, and I've mentioned this on the channel many times, that project-based learning is the best way to learn how to code. And as soon as you can start applying these topics that you've learned through different courses or videos or tutorials, whatever it is, as soon as you can start actually applying them and building some sort of product or solving some sort of problem, the sooner you're actually going to start really learning how to code and learning how to problem solve and how to think as a developer, because that's what you really want to do. So now what you want to do is say every week you want to complete a side project. So after you're done, learning a language and taking a couple of courses, what you want to do is say, okay, this week I'm going to build one project, and give yourself deadlines. The most important thing is you want to give yourself deadlines so you actually finish these projects, right? So you're going to say, first week I'm going to build this, then the next week I'm going to build another project. And guys, if you don't know what kind of projects to build, I guarantee you, regardless of which language you're learning, if you look up, say, simple iOS applications to build, you'll find tons of ideas. And the trick is to start out small and simple. You want to start as easy as possible. I'm talking like the most basic app ever, because your first app, you don't want to start, building Facebook or building Airbnb, stuff like that, because you're going to give up. It's going to be too complicated. I've made this mistake myself before, and what you end up is you give up, right? So start off really small, start off really simple, and once you've built 3 or 4 projects that took you a week each, then you can say, okay, I want to build a more complex project, and then maybe give yourself a longer deadline. Give yourself 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month if it's like a bigger project. And I guarantee you guys, if you follow this kind of path, after 2 or 3 months, you're gonna have a pretty awesome amount of side projects, and you're gonna have some complex ones too, because you start off small and then you've kind of built upon them over time. So you'll actually have some good side projects, maybe 1 or 2 complex projects that you can put on your resume. And that is the next step, guys. What you want to do once you've built some side projects, once you've gained some confidence and really learned how to code in a single language, then you can actually start applying for jobs, right? You can make a resume and start applying. Now, I know I've talked before about preparing for technical interviews, and you might be asking, John, why would I start applying before I've even prepped for technical interviews? Isn't it like a completely different skill set? Yes, it is 100%. But the reason I want you guys to start applying for jobs as early as possible, once you have some side projects, don't apply to jobs if you have nothing, if you have no side projects or any experience, because that's a waste of time. But once you actually know a language a decent amount and you have some side projects, you want to start applying as early as possible, because you might not get those jobs, but what those interviews are going to do is help you build confidence. I've told this story before, but one of my mentors in the past, just made me go through interviews. He's just like, John, do an interview a week and just apply to a ton of jobs, even though I was already working there and I wasn't, going to leave, right? But he's like, just apply to jobs and gain confidence. Just go through interviews and gain confidence. And guys, that's the best way to practice. The best way to practice for technical interviews is to just do the technical interviews. You might bomb a couple, you might fail it, but you're going to realize that, okay, I'm actually confident talking to this random person online and, coding in front of someone else. You're going to be able to handle the pressure, and you're really going to feel comfortable and relaxed when taking technical interviews, which is like half the work. Now, while you're applying to jobs and actually doing these interviews, you do want to be practicing for technical interviews. And how do you do that? Guys, the easiest way is to just go on LeetCode, start off with some easy questions, do a couple a day, and then, move on to medium, move on to hard. And then once you can, do a decently hard question in, let's say, an hour, 45 minutes, maybe do a medium in 45 minutes, I would say that you're going to see that, you're more prepared, and your interviews are going to start getting better and better, and you should be, ready to actually accept a job. And I think at that point, at this point, it'll be several months, maybe even closer to a year. I think you're actually going to be able to find a full-time position. Another part of looking for jobs, and when you have a resume, when you have side projects, you want to be able to market yourself, right? What you want to do is, first of all, create a badass resume. There's several good resources to create resumes. I'll leave a couple below. One that I use and what I made my resume on is called Credle.io. I'll leave the link below. It's an awesome, way to build a resume. And so yeah, first of all, you want to have a great resume. Second of all, you want to put all your code on GitHub, right? Make it public. As obviously, unless you're using like private keys and stuff like that, but put your code on GitHub. Show people what you've done, make a website for yourself, and really market yourself. Put yourself out there. And when you're going to be applying to companies, they're going to see that you're not just the average applicant. You're not just like a random person with no information about themselves and no side projects. You're actually going to stand out, and it's going to be great. It's going to be a great feeling. So guys, you really want to focus on marketing yourself. I think marketing yourself well is one of the most important things, and not a lot of people really do it that well, right? So if you can do that, you'll already stand out. You'll have some awesome side projects, and you might not have the experience, let's say, but what you'll have displayed to the companies that you're willing to put in the work, you're willing to learn quickly, and you're willing to get the job done. So all the work you would have done in the past couple of months will have been worth it. So guys, I hope this video has helped you all. Let's all get into 2021 with a positive attitude, and realize that right now is a great time to learn how to code. It's one of the best times because you don't really have to go to college, you don't have to go to a boot camp, you don't have to go through anything crazy. There's resources online, and if you put in the work, there's no reason why you can't succeed. I've said this before, and there's like people in third world countries that are learning to code. Like why would you not be able to in 2021, right? There's no excuse, and if you want to, you definitely can. So guys, pick a path that you want to take, create a plan, and really schedule your time, by month, per week, per day, and really hold yourself accountable. Work on some awesome side projects, and then figure out a way to market yourself in the best way with an awesome resume, an awesome GitHub, and a great website that will display your side projects. So guys, I hope you found this video useful. If you think there's anything I forgot, or if there's anything I disagree with, feel free to leave a comment below, and also don't forget to like and subscribe as well. And as always guys, take it easy, enjoy your coding, and Happy New Year.